Hi everyone. Today I'm going to share with you some information about social media privacy and how to take control of your social media profiles. Whenever we sign into a social media account, we agree to certain terms and conditions. Often these terms and conditions are spelled out. There's several pages of information that most of the time we don't read. So we might be signing up for things that affect our privacy and information. So I'm going to share with you how to change some of those things and to see what we actually have signed up to when we have made these social media accounts online. So a lot of times there is a terms of service that you didn't read. You just look at it and go, okay, I agree, and you click it. Well, there is a website that breaks down all of these terms of service, and I put the link right here for you. It's tosdr.org. I'm going to show you the website. What it does is it takes the terms of services for different accounts and it grades them. So just like a regular grade, A is the best grade, and I believe it goes down to E. E is the worst grade. So basically what it does, it will break it down for you as far as what they collect from you. Like, for example, Google may collect, use, and share your location data. I know a lot of times when you're using Google, you'll get a pop-up or different saying, do we know your location? I always say no, because in my eyes, there's no reason they need to know my location while I'm looking this. But anyway, here's an example of the different things that they do use. And I'm not going to go on every one, but you can go down through for different places like Google, Facebook, YouTube, Amazon, and click down through. You can even put a certain search in here for certain services. So I suggest that you check that out. These are the terms of services for each one of these sites that you're using. So it's a great resource to see what you actually have agreed to when you sign their terms of service. The next thing is each social media account does have privacy settings that are built in, and I'll talk specifically about what those are shortly, but you can choose most often what information that you want shared publicly or privately, who can send you the information, who can't, if you can be tagged in a picture or a post or not, and then what shows up on timelines. And that's just a very general overview of some of the things that you have control of when you are on a social media account. So the first one I want to talk about is Facebook. Facebook does have the privacy setting that you can set your account to private and not public. And what that means is with this privacy setting is only your friends, the people that you allow to be your friends, can see your content. Well, there is a little bit more to that. Anything on the internet is never ultimately 100% private. It's just not. It's out there. Once it is typed and put out there, it is out there, even if you have that privacy setting on. The thing is, you can have your account set to private, and if you share something on your timeline or with your friend, if your friend reposts it and their account is set to public, other people have access to your information that you shared. So keep that in mind. Even though yours is set to private, if someone's is set to public, they can still see the information that you shared because of your friend that posted it with their account public. Another thing with Facebook is often there are some security breaches that does happen. That is part of putting information on the internet. It uses your data for internal testing also. Have you ever noticed that when you're on Facebook and an ad popped up, sometimes the ad is something that you just looked at on the internet? Curious, huh? How'd they get that information? So there's some kind of tracking there that is whatever you've looked at, it kind of pieces together with your profile. So, you know, they're getting that kind of information. And another thing is sometimes your friend's account may get hacked, and whatever information they have access to may link back to your account. So just keep that in mind when you're posting things or sharing things. It is not 100% private no matter what settings that you have on there. Here are a few ways to help make your Facebook more secure. You do have under the settings account these options here. And if you think your account is compromised, just make sure you change your password or just change it periodically so that you know that it's safe. And make sure when you're doing that you use a good strong password, not something that's easy to be guessed. Use numbers and letters and symbols. If you save your login, you can determine where it's saved as far as the browsers and your devices. Do use the two-factor authentication. And what it is basically you will get a code and it will say, here are these numbers. You have to go into your account and put those numbers in. So basically, it just gives you an extra step when logging in to make sure that it really is you that is logging in. You can look at a list of authorized logins when you've logged into your account, maybe on a different device. You can even check out what apps are using your Facebook password to log into them. And that's an important thing too, using that third-party apps to use your login. Sometimes maybe that's not the most secure thing to do. So check those out and see what that looks like on your account. And then you can also set an alert on for unrecognized logins. So if something comes up, somebody logged in your account, and you're like, I didn't do that, you'll get an alert. So that's a nice thing to have as additional security. And then you can even do this, choose 3 to 5 friends to contact if you get logged out. So there are some additional safety features that Facebook has set up for you that you can check on and to keep your account safe. The next one I'm going to talk about is Instagram. And when you set up an Instagram account, your account is automatically set up to public, but you can easily and quickly change your account to private. Again, setting it private does not mean that your information can't be shared. It's just more private than it being a public account. You can manually remove people that have followed you. All you have to do is click one tap and remove them. You can turn off your activity status. A lot of times when you're online, same thing with Facebook, you'll see it'll pop up and you'll have like a green dot that shows that you're online. If you don't want everybody to see when you're online on your account all the time, you do have the ability to turn that off on Facebook and Instagram. You can disable resharing posts and stories. The thing is, stories can be hacked on here. They can even track an exact address of an image or video if your location service was turned on when you posted it. So double check your location services on your pictures to see if that's turned off and on. A screenshot can also be taken of your content, and all the information is collected from you every time that you use the app. So those are just some things to consider and keep in mind when using it. So here are a few ways to help you keep Instagram a little bit more secure. When they ask you to reset your password, they know something has been breached, so reset your password. My suggestion is just reset it often just to make sure that it is safe. And again, use a strong password with a combination of letters and numbers or punctuation. Never give out your password to someone that you don't know. Use the two-factor authentication for that additional security, just like on Facebook. Make sure your email account is a secure one. Make sure that when you do use passwords, you don't use the same one over and over and over for all of your accounts. try to unclick the box that says remember me when you are using a public computer or someone else's phone or something like that when you close your browser. That way your information won't be saved on that device. And then got to remember that adding additional apps to your Instagram to help increase functionality, it may basically be opening the door for someone to gain information from your account. So keep those in mind. Here are a few things about these three apps that I found very interesting. Is Facebook, Instagram, and Messenger, they kind of compare notes with your account. So if you're using these three apps, they basically compare where you've been, what you do, what you look at. Every hashtag on Instagram compares with the like on Facebook. It kind of helps them build a profile of who you are. So Facebook gives you that option to log into other sites using Facebook to help avoid you making a new password. So keep that in mind. Maybe you might want to just make your own account instead of linking them all together. They even record the amount of time and frequency you use. So I just wanted to make you aware of some of the things that are gathered about you when using these apps. Google and YouTube, I wanted to include them because they're very well used by most people. And Google tracks searches and history and in both search engines and on YouTube. YouTube is owned by Google, so they work hand in hand now with that. Google uses data to create targeted ads. So again, same thing with ads like on Facebook. You might see ads, you're like, oh man, I just looked at that, yesterday, and now I have an advertisement for it. So keep that in mind. Chrome browsers allow users to log in across the internet, which that is a wonderful feature to be able to do, but all that information is tracked across the internet. One wonderful thing that I love about Chrome is incognito. And what it does, it is built into your browser. I'll show you where it is if you haven't used it before. But what it does is it helps keep from tracking passwords and information. So if you are on your Chrome account, if you go up by your little picture by your account, and there are the three dots. If you click that, you'll see new tab, new window, and new incognito window. So if I click that, it will look like this. And basically what it does is you're browsing privately, and it won't save this information here. It won't save your browsing history, your cookies, your site data, information, and forms. So it's very nice that they have this option. When on, the site can't use cookies that track across different sites. So you can see it turns black, and you can see this little guy with glasses and a hat. So you know you're incognito. So it won't keep that information. So that's nice. Honestly, I use this when I go to check flight information, because one time I checked it on Chrome and I went out and I went into something else and I came back to the exact same thing and the price was higher. So I've done it in incognito and I have never really seen any issues with it. It might just have been happenstance, but I use incognito for checking prices on things sometimes too. So like I said, it might have been happenstance, but it's a nice feature to know that you are incognito. Another great thing from Chrome is they've given you the ability to check on security issues and your own privacy. And this is really nice. It's built into your account. If you just go to your Google account, it's built in right here. If you go to your name and then you click it and then you click manage your account like this, that's where you'll find it, and it'll pop up and you can check that information for your privacy and data, your security, and all of that. So you can check and see how secure your Chrome account is through that. I have a list here. These are some of the privacy settings for different social networks: Google, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And it's basically the instructions on where to go to find these privacy settings. So if you are not sure where they are, this is kind of a little bit of a step-by-step way to get there to find that information. So if you need to pause the video, you could do that to be able to look that up and follow the steps if you're not sure where to find those settings. And then here are a few more security tips I wanted to leave with you. Reread your message before you post. Make sure you don't overshare. When it asks for certain permissions, think about it before you decide what you want to do. Review and understand your privacy settings, and you can do that by even going to that website. Turn your GPS location services off when you're not needed, and turn it off on your photos so that it's not being tracked if that's something that you want to do. Use an updated browser like Chrome. You can use incognito or private mode for more private searching. Use unique passwords and logins for websites, and use different ones. Check the domain you're using to make sure it's legit, and be cautious of messages, links, or posts that look suspicious. One more thing is the passwords. Long passwords are more secure. Use letters, numbers, and symbols. Use two-step verification. You can use some things like online password managers like Dashlane, LastPass, or KeepPass. Or if you just want to write them down someplace. Make sure it's a secure location to keep them so that you can look them up when you're like, oh, I forget what the password is, then you would have that. So I hope that some of these resources were valuable to you to help keep you safe. And remember, Monday through Friday, I will be online for Tech Help Time. You can join me. Go to the library and click on Tech Help, and it will give you the Zoom link that all you have to do is click, and you can join me face-to-face, and I'll be glad to help you however. Hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks.